Need to get out of the sun. Okay. Hi, welcome to today's video. My name is Kaylee if you're new here, and today I want to talk about people pleasing because this is something I've noticed is quite common, and there's kind of two ends of the spectrum with it. It's either you're a people pleaser where you're always trying to please people and consider them and their feelings, how they're going to react, and you end up putting their needs and wants first and neglect your own wants and needs, whether you're aware of it or not. There's the other end of the spectrum where people don't consider other people and how they're gonna feel. They're more worried about themselves and what they want and what they need and don't really think about other people. I personally have been trying to find a happy medium where I am honoring my own needs and prioritizing them, acknowledging them, but also being considerate of other people. How can I make both wants and needs just as important and acknowledge and honor both of them? So if this sounds like you, if you're trying to find more of a happy medium and give yourself more love, meet your own needs a bit more, then this video is for you. So firstly, what is people pleasing and why do we do it? So people pleasing is when you try to please someone by putting their needs first, putting their wants first. You want to make them happy. You are trying to maybe avoid a certain reaction or feeling from them. Anyways, you put them first and your wants and needs kind of go on the back burner. And a lot of the times we're not even aware that we do this. It's an unconscious behavior. But what it really is an attempt at control. It's attempting to control the other person's perception of you or attempting to control how that person's going to react. So maybe in your life, if you struggled with conflict or you were in unpredictable environments, maybe with like your parents or role model or parental figure, you were always kind of like unsure of how they were going to react, or maybe they had extreme reactions and big emotions. And so now you've learned, unconsciously most likely, to be hyper vigilant of people outside of you because you are trying to control their reaction. You want to keep the peace, right? You want to make them happy. You don't want to stir things up. You don't want to cause any conflict or confrontation because it's uncomfortable and it brings up unpleasant feelings or thoughts. And like I said, this is usually unconscious. We're not even aware that we're doing it in the moment, but it's programmed in our minds to have this thought process, this belief that like, if I can do whatever to make this person happy and put their wants and needs first and make them happy, then I'll be happy too and we'll be good. But what we fail to realize is that when we're constantly putting other people first, it usually leads to resentment. And it usually leads to lower self-worth and a decreased level of self-trust. This is because we're neglecting, in the process of putting other people first and making them happy, we're actually not making ourselves happy because our needs aren't being acknowledged or honored. And so deep down, our spirit, our soul, or our inner child is like, how come I'm not just as important? Those feelings of almost betrayal, because you're betraying yourself in the process, start to creep up. And this often will lead to resentment, maybe depression, or just sadness, even like anger or frustration too. And that's totally understandable. I personally was a people pleaser like majority of my life, and I still will catch, if I'm not aware of it, I will still catch my thought process kind of leaning towards the people please. How many times am I going to say people pleasing in this video? Anyways, I will catch myself forgetting myself, and it has to be a very conscious choice that I have to make, and I have to be really self-aware because automatically the way I've been conditioned is to put others first. We don't need to go into all that because I think there are a lot of ways that people become people pleasers. It doesn't really matter how we got there and how we became a people pleaser because that's in the past and it doesn't exist anymore. What we're trying to focus on is right here and now, and simply just becoming more self-aware of it, recognizing it so that we can start to make conscious choices and changes that better serve us, but also serve the other person as well, so that we both feel acknowledged and loved, and we can build more self-trust within ourselves and grow out of this unhealthy pattern or way of being. How do we change this behavior? The first step simply is just recognizing it, right? Acknowledging that you have those thought processes or you have those inner beliefs, and then being able to, in the moment, recognize when you're about to do something people pleasy. So for example, your friend and you are planning to get together, and your friend is like, oh, I really want to go out for a drink, and right away your thoughts are like, oh, I don't want to do that. But then there's that little people pleasy voice in your head that's like, oh, okay, sure, like whatever you want. And in the past you probably would have said that, but like deep down you're like, I was actually just really wanting to hang out like low-key, just the two of us. This is just an example. So recognizing that before you say anything, taking a moment to yourself, check in and be like, how does this sit with me? Does this work for me and my needs? And if you're able to recognize deep down that this doesn't feel right in your body. I know that if I go out drinking or if I go out and whatever with my friend, I'm not gonna feel very good. I'm gonna betray myself because I'm trying to drink less and make healthier choices for myself, and I know I'm not going to feel very good tomorrow, and tomorrow I want to continue to make healthy, happy choices for myself. So then is when you have a choice. And life is all about making choices, guys. That's when you have a choice to be like, okay, am I gonna go and fall into my old patterns and ways of being, of like giving in and putting them first, and then most likely you're gonna regret it the next day. Or you have the choice to prioritize and acknowledge your needs. And this is important because everybody's kind of concerned about themselves, right? We're not going to get into ego and all of that, but everyone is really looking out for themselves. Even if you all are a people pleaser, the reason you're a people pleaser is because you want to avoid conflict, or you want to try to control their interpretation of you. So it still is a form of me and what I want and what I need, right? So anyways, nobody is going to look after you as good as you are. Nobody is going to be able to listen to your body and listen to your soul and listen to what you are really needing and meet those needs and give yourself that love the way you can. Nobody is going to do it for you. You need to choose that for yourself. Nobody can go in your mind, nobody can go in your body and prioritize you or put you first. You need to be the main character of your life and love yourself first. Not saying that you can't love other people just as much and also recognize and acknowledge their needs. So like I was saying, you have a choice. Then you can choose to say, okay, I recognize that this isn't going to best serve me and I don't want to do it, but how can I also like be respectful and loving to the person that I'm talking to? So you can say something like this. It sounds like you're really excited about going out tonight. I would love to be your partner in crime tonight and to do that with you, but I can't. And you don't even need to explain yourself. This is another thing with people pleasing. I feel like if you do try to set a boundary or say no, you feel like you need to like over explain yourself. No, you can literally just say no and leave it at that. And if the person truly loves and respects you, like they will respect and accept your boundary and say, okay, cool, like that's too bad. I was hoping it would be you that would come out with me, but we'll hang out another time, like totally understand. That's the type of friendship you would want anyways, I would hope, right? Whereas if the person starts guilt tripping you and getting mad at you and stuff, I mean, they can do that all they want. That's their choice. And then you have the choice whether you're gonna like give in to that and react to that, but hopefully they would be accepting. So you're acknowledging, okay, I hear that you really want to go out, you're acknowledging their wants, but I can't tonight, or I actually, that doesn't work for me. But what I was thinking more of was for us to just like go for a nice dinner or watch a movie or something. Is that something that you would enjoy as well? If not, I totally understand. And the person can then be like, yeah, cool, that sounds really fun too. Or they can say, no, I don't want to do that. We'll hang out another time. So that's the like next step, choosing what you're gonna say and saying it in a way that acknowledges the other person's wants and needs, but ultimately chooses your wants and needs at the same time, if that makes sense. So you're considering them, validating them, and their needs, but you're also doing that for yourself as well. And I feel like that's a really good happy medium. And then there is the outcome, the other person's reaction, and how you're going to feel. So like I was just saying, the person might not react the ideal way that you would like. They might get really upset, or they might be like, oh, you never come out with me anymore. This is another really important moment to be self-aware of, is to recognize that this person's reaction is not your fault. It is their interpretation of what you said to them. And if you are speaking lovingly and respectfully, that's all you can really control. You can't control another person's reaction. If they're going to choose to overreact or react that way, that's on them. And sure, it might not feel very nice to receive, but then ask yourself, is this really a relationship I want to continue? Or is there an opportunity to set even more boundaries and say, hey, I understand that you're disappointed and upset that I'm not coming out with you, but you can't speak to me that way, because if you're being loving and respectful and they're not able to reciprocate that, then again, you need to choose yourself and recognize like, okay, this isn't a good, healthy situation to be in right now. I need to like remove myself for a little bit until we can come back and have like a mature, assertive, loving conversation. Or like I said, reassess the friendship too, maybe, and be like, is this really a friendship I want to continue if this person is not able to accept my needs and my boundaries? And then there's also the feelings of guilt or the feel bads, which I hear so much. And I used to say it too, like, oh, but I feel bad or whatever, and you feel guilty. That is okay. It's not going to go away. I think maybe eventually over time, like I know because I've been practicing this for so many years now, the guilt and the feel bads are a lot less than they used to be. Like I used to feel so bad when I'd say no or set a boundary. And that's totally okay. It's just a feeling and it's not going to last forever. And it just means that you care and that you are stepping outside of your comfort zone too, right? Like it's uncomfortable if you're used to always saying yes to everybody and putting everybody else first. When you go to say no, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel weird and you might feel bad or whatever. That's okay. Just accept that that feeling's there and that you feel bad, but know that it won't last forever and it will pass. And try to talk to yourself too and reassure yourself like, I feel bad, I feel guilty, that's okay. I chose what was best for me, but I also was loving and respectful of my friend or of my loved one or whoever that you set the boundary with or said no to. Guilt is kind of an uncomfortable feeling, but like I said, it's just a feeling. We have many of those, and it does get better, truly it does. The more that you practice these things, the easier it gets and the less guilt you feel. And you actually start to feel more and more empowered, and you gain self-confidence, self-esteem, self-worth. You start to trust yourself too, and that trickles into so many other areas of life, and it's very, very rewarding. And it's just ultimately such a beautiful way to love yourself and also love other people. It is totally okay to do what's best for you and to choose things that are going to make you feel your best, that best serve you and help you feel healthier and happier and more at peace, more fulfilled. Practice being aware of yourself and recognizing when you have the urge to people please. Try not to judge yourself. I know it's really easy to judge yourself and be like, oh, I'm doing it again. But just say like, oh, okay, I have the urge to put this other person's needs before my own. And then ask yourself, okay, what am I going to choose? And hopefully if you choose, okay, I'm going to do what's best for me, how am I going to communicate this to this person in a way that is going to make them feel seen, heard, loved, respected, and validated as well, and still be considerate of them. And then I'm going to wait and accept whatever reaction they have and recognize that it's okay if I feel bad or feel guilty after, and it just means that I care about the person and that it's hard and it's uncomfortable. I'm changing and I'm growing out of old patterns and old things that I know deep down don't best serve me. Hopefully I didn't go on too long of a tangent there. I tend to do that sometimes. But anyways, I hope that you found this video helpful in some way. Please feel free to share anything further that you've learned about people pleasing and how to make changes around it. Ask me any questions if you have any questions. And I'm sending you so much love, and we will see you in the next video.